Hi everyone, I hope you're well. It's Sue Bassett here with Positively Sue, Sipping with Sue. It's been a while, so I'm glad to be here. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful summer. So I'm just going to give it a few minutes, chat about a few things, and then we'll get rolling on the lessons from the cottage. I'm so excited to share all of that with you. So I hope that you're really having a great summer. The weather today has been gorgeous. I know some of us have been a little, worried because we've had a lot of rain this summer, but it seems to be brightening up these days, so that's wonderful and great. And I hope that although you're working in the summer, that you're taking some time for yourself, because remember, that's really important. That whole self-care thing is so important. So hopefully you're finding that time. And I was joking earlier this summer that my hashtag for the summer is run to the sun, because of all the rain we've been having. So when you have a chance, run to the sun. Even if you're working and you have a break, go run to the sun, because honestly, you never know when it's going to come out again. So again, that is my my hashtag, run to the sun. I'll have to put it on with this this episode of Sipping with Sue. So far my summer has been great. I've been working a little bit, and I've been really working on my business and plugging away at that. And the kids have been in camp, and my son starts working next week, so that's kind of exciting. And now I'm revving up for September. Still trying to live in the moment and enjoy the time, but September's around the corner, and I just thought, okay, next week I really do have to start getting, some things ready, but we can still enjoy our time while we're doing that, which is really important. So we did go to a cottage off the grid for about 10 days. There was minimal internet, but you kind of had to drive up the street to get your internet. So I had to make the riveting decision each day whether I was going to do that or not. But it was a really good thing. We've been going to the same cottage for 5 years, and it's about 4 hours away up north from where we live. And it's just a totally different life than what we have back home, which is a good thing. It was great. And in those 10 days that we were away, I started to write down, some thoughts, some perspective, some reflection that I was trying to do. And I tried to write all of that down, and I called it Lessons from the Cottage. And in those 10 days, a couple things just off the cuff right now that I learned, and then I'll go through the list that I have with you. One of the things that my husband had said he'd read about research is that when you actually are given the chance to sleep without, any restrictions, which we were at the cottage, and actually I took my clock and shut it off for the first time, and I didn't use it at the cottage, the clock beside my bed, and there were days that I slept for 10 hours. Oh my gosh. And I guess the research shows that when you're given the chance to sleep without restrictions, the amount of time that you actually sleep is really the amount of time that you need. So, let's take being back home. Back home, I go to bed at 11. I set the alarm for 6. I get up because I have to get everybody moving and grooving. But really, what I really do need is not 7 hours of sleep. I seem to need 10. So I found that kind of interesting. Now, I didn't sleep in for 10 hours every day, but I really did use that time to sleep, and sleep really good and hard. I just thought, okay, that's interesting. I guess I need a little more sleep than I thought. So that was kind of neat. We went up north, again, 4 hours away, which was great. Beautiful cottage, and we like to invite family up with us. So we have some family with us for, 4 or 5 days, and then the other days we're on our own as a family unit, which is great. We're very much an extroverted kind of family, so we like to have lots of people around us, and I think my son would have loved to have people around us the whole time. But it's also good to have some time on your own as well as a family. And I was able to read through some books and get even a little bit of work done up there, but good work and fun work. So I'm going to share some of those book reviews with you in the next couple weeks. And so when we travel up there, it's 4 hours, but with the drive and the stops, it's probably five and a half. So I sit in the back with my daughter in case, she needs any medicine or anything like that, because she has special needs, and my son sits up in the front. And the companion that comes with us on the trip every year, and the kids think I'm absolutely ridiculous, but whatever, is this Chiquita doll here, which actually her hair looks horrible right now. She's one of those groovy girl dolls, but she actually had like lots of really cool highlights in her hair. It's kind of the inspiration behind my hair, actually, and I kind of love her like funky look and outfit. So she's been kind of my go-to chick. I keep her in my car too. I know. My kids are like, you are so embarrassing. And I have eyelashes on my car too. I'll have to take a picture of that one day and show you guys. Anyway, I just figure my job in life is to embarrass my children. It's kind of a payback for when maybe they misbehaved. That's what I'm going with. That's the story I'm sticking to. So I'm calling her Chiquita. She got wild hair, man. And I take her with us. And last year she came to the cottage, and like I drive the kids, a little crazy with her. So I put her in different spots. And probably in my pictures you saw, she was kind of hanging from the ceiling. And my daughter they laugh, right? Last year when we went to the cottage, we did a day trip to Quebec, and when I opened up the door, she fell out and on the ground, and the kids were like, oh my gosh, the doll fell on the floor in Quebec, and we took pictures of it. And anyway, like I say, if you're not laughing, you might be crying, so we're better off to have some humor in our life and laugh about it. So if you got a better name for the girl, let me know. But anyway, you may see her, maybe Adventures of Chiquita. We'll start having her travel along with me. Anyway, again, just a little bit of humor. So anyway, Chiquita comes with us to the cottage, and my daughter keeps whipping her, in a closet because she's so embarrassed by it. But I love it anyway. It's all good. So so some of my lessons from the cottage, and for those of you that maybe take summer vacation, it may not be the cottage that you go to. It just could be vacation in general that you go to. What are the lessons that come out of your vacation? Because it's a different life than what we're used to living when we're around, back home. It's completely different life. So here's some of mine. I wrote them down. So here we go. Mosquitoes. Oh my gosh, there were so many mosquitoes this year. I could not believe how many mosquitoes there were because of all the rain. And due to that, of course, they were biting me constantly. Nobody else was getting bitten, and I had the smoke and the spray and all the stuff going on, and they were still biting me. So I thought, these mosquitoes are interesting, Really, mosquitoes put their needs first, don't they? They're like persistent. They're constantly bzz until they get you. No matter how many times I swatted them and tried to get rid of them, they landed up biting me and, getting the blood and getting what they needed. So I thought, mosquitoes are persistent. They put their needs first, and they get what they need first. And, my sort of philosophy in life is doing for others. I mean, I believe that when you do for others and you do kind things, more comes back to you. I mean, it's not the reason I try to do nice things for people. I like doing that. But I also think that, and I've had conversations with people that I know around me, that a lot of people put themselves first a lot of the time. And is that necessarily a bad thing? Probably not. I think for me, it's good to strike the balance, but I do put myself first sometimes. And it was just an aha moment for me with these mosquitoes that, they put themselves first all the time and what their needs are. And we need to strike the balance with that. We do need to, voice what's important for us, what we need, and be able to put that forward, because that actually helps self-preserve ourselves, right? Self-preservation is really important. So anyway, that's what I learned from those mosquitoes and all the welts that I had on me. I used Afterbite, though, for the first time this year, and that really worked really well. So that was my lesson from the mosquitoes. So I want to thank the mosquitoes. It just reminded me to still put myself forward every once in a while and make myself a priority, because that's healthier for me, but still give at the same time. So anyway, the mosquitoes could learn some lessons too. What else? Don't play small in the world. Sing, be loud, be yourself, be bold. So I got that from when we played karaoke. We brought the karaoke machine up, and we had lots of fun singing karaoke, and my son got involved, and it was a lot of fun. So it just reminded me that even some of the people that were a little more quiet in personality were actually using karaoke and singing and enjoying it. So we need to remember to be ourselves and be true to who we are and be bold and not be afraid to do all of that, right? Because life really is too short, for sure. That was my second lesson. Some of these lessons I'm going to give you explanation, and some of them I'm just going to say without explanation. So the other one is cranky people in your life give you perspective and remind you to stay positive. Or it could work the other way. I guess cranky people could make you more cranky. For me, it makes me go the other way, and it makes me want to be even more positive because I don't want to join that world. So anyway, that's that lesson. When the washing machine breaks down, life goes on. So the washing machine broke down at the cottage, and I was like, oh no, because I didn't bring a lot of clothes, because usually I do a load of clothes up there. And it just reminded me that, when there's a challenge or something is happening in our life, that we've got to find a way to work through it, beyond it if we can, or have a strategy in place. So for us, there was a washing machine at the provincial park. I know, go figure. And we got some laundry done there, and we survived. I wore clothes for a couple days in a row. Oh no, right? I'm at the cottage. It doesn't matter if I stink a little bit, I guess. But anyway, we were able to come up with that strategy. And I thought, that's a good lesson from the washing machine. We didn't get too stressed about it. Now at home, might have been a different thing. Might have been a little more challenging to work with that, but we would have worked through it. It wasn't a big life crisis, right? What else? Leeches. Oh my gosh, I had my first leech on my toe and my foot. My son gets them every year, and I remember just sitting on the boat, and I was like, oh, what's that feeling between my toes? Oh my, it's a leech, but they're just the oddest looking thing. Anyway, sucking out whatever out of my toes, and I hear that people pay big bucks for that in I think in China. I remember the Kardashians did something, and they put their feet all in leeches and soaked all the bacteria off their feet and fungus. I could probably use that. Anyway, so the poor leech was on my foot, and that was interesting. So I removed it, and then what did I have here? Leeches suck the life out of you, but you have a choice to move forward. So this lesson for me was the people that are around me in my life, and we probably all have them. They're the people that might suck the life out of us a little bit, because maybe they're negative, or they're not positive, or they're not supportive. They're not part of your tribe. I know we use that word a lot, but I think we have to reevaluate sometimes who are the people that are in our life, who are we hanging with, who's in our inner circle, right? And the lady that I went to see a couple weeks ago at the Business Expo, Pat Masu, talks about that. Who are the top 5 people that you hang out with? And are they supportive? Are they part of your tribe and in your community? So that was the lesson I got from the leeches. So thank you, leeches. I'm just going to grab a sip of water, and I just want to share with you this new water that I found. It is so exciting. Look, are you ready? Happy water. Isn't that the best? I saw it in a magazine, and I had to go get it at Sobeys. It's the best. Happy water. It's really tasty and yummy. I'm so excited it says happy on it. It's like the best. Hey, maybe I'll have my own water one day. Positively Sue water. There you go. And I'm drinking it in my new cup that says sip, sip, hooray. I know. So excited. I know. I can't help myself. Sorry. I know. Annoying, but I am who I am. Okay, another lesson, remember to share your joys with people. That's really important. It doesn't mean you're boasting, I can't talk. I gotta get back to work in September because I can't talk anymore. It doesn't mean, you're being ego-based. Share your joys, share yourself with the world. That's really important. My other philosophy or motto is never say never. We may be set in our ways and think this is the way things are. I always say never because things do change. Not everyone likes your company. Accept that and move on. That's part of life, and that's something that I've been working on because sometimes I have a hard time with that, but I've actually been really working hard on that and achieving that and really believing that. What else have I got? Swim in cold water anyway. The water this year at the lake was a little cold, not as lovely getting into it as years past. It was a little painful, but don't wait for it to be warm. So get into that cold water anyway. So if we waited for the water to be super warm, we wouldn't have been in the water at all this summer, and we wouldn't have enjoyed it. We would have missed that opportunity, right? So let's apply that to our lives, right? Don't wait for the perfect moment for life to be perfect, and it never will be perfect. And what is perfect anyway? do it anyway. Enjoy it. I watched my husband having a hard time getting in the water with my son, but they eventually got in the water and they floated in the water in these floaty things for hours, talking and bonding and just having that quality time. And it was wonderful and lovely. So again, that's the lesson in life, right? Is not missing out on those opportunities. That's so, so important. What else do I have? Well, it's actually a question. It was a reflection for me. And what I realized is it really takes me a long time to unwind when I get on vacation mode. And I don't know how many of you are out there and that happens to you. Does it take a while for you to get in that vacation mode? For me, I would say truthfully, it took me 4 to 5 days. And then when I got in vacation mode, I've been having a hard time getting out of vacation mode. I mean, I've got a mile-long list of things I need to get done, and I'm kind of getting in the mode. But this time it's been a real challenge for me. So, I find that interesting. And why does it take us that long to get out of vacation mode? Is it because we're doing way too much during the rest of the year? And I guess the other lesson there is enjoy the vacation mode, because for me, there is a small portion of me that was thinking about my business. I was thinking about other things. I did get a few books read. I did do a little reflection. I didn't do as much as I wanted to do at the cottage. I was actually hoping to get some work done. But what I realized is I really needed that time to unwind. So we all need that time to detach, to leave our current life for a little while if we can, and really enjoy the vacation. Because guess what? When you get back, you're going back in the same mode again. And it is. I mean, it was a fast-paced week this week. There was a lot going on. I had to advocate twice for my daughter. She was back getting procedures done. I was at a workshop. The week is gone, right? So you get back into the swing of things anyway. So enjoy that vacation time. Set it aside. Let it be sacred. So that's really what I learned. And not try to get too much work done when you're away, right? Because life goes on and you go back to the same life you had before when you come back from vacation, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, what else do we have? You can live on 2 meals a day. Guess what? I only ate twice a day because I slept in, got up, kind of had a brunch kind of situation, and then dinner. Had a couple small snacks, and even lost some weight when I was at the cottage. I know, a little weird, even though I had alcohol too. So I realized that we do eat a lot as a society, and we really don't need to. I was having a conversation with a friend a while ago about this too, how we really do eat lots, and we don't need to, and we can survive without it. So I found that interesting. I mean, I just loved this vacation. It just was full of so much reflection and these lessons that I love. So anyway, that was interesting. I'm definitely out of shape. I'm not as in shape as I used to be. We had this hill that it's a continental shield. So we had to climb up this hill and climb back down to get to the water. And they had done some excavating, and it was even worse this year, and it was muddy. And I was like, oh my gosh, like cardiac hill trying to get up this thing. And it was like the California mudslide going down. So anyway, yeah, just a little reflection for me that, I need to do some more exercising. I used to actually do quite a bit of exercise, and I stopped. So it's something I really need to take back on as I was trying to climb up that hill. And the other thing I loved was that, when you're down at the water and you're at the boat and you're looking at the hill and you're thinking, I got to go to the bathroom. Do I really go up to the bathroom? Because it's a lot of work. And so don't tell anybody. But yeah, peeing in the lake is like the most wonderful thing. Shh, don't tell anybody. I know somebody else said to me, oh, you can't do that. Like you're polluting the water. And I'm like, yeah, it's organic. We're good. So anyway, yeah, most freeing thing I've ever done, but oh my gosh, love it. So anyway, shh, don't tell too many people. At least you don't know where the cottage is that I go to. What else? Chipmunks. There were a lot of chipmunks at the cottage. My kids named all 3 of them. And we fed them, oh my gosh, so many peanuts. So they're going to be set for the winter. And they were the most friendly little chipmunks. And one had a little boo-boo on his neck. Poor little thing. I was trying to put polysporin on him. Wasn't working out too well. Anyway, chipmunks remind me, kind of myself. They're a little quick, fast-paced. focused, coming back for more, getting their peanuts, going to store them. They're on a mission. They got a vision. They got goals. So they kind of remind me of myself a little bit. They're quick. They're super efficient. And surprisingly, they're a little bit loud. Have you ever heard the sounds that a chipmunk makes? Oh my gosh, they make the most loudest sound. And I love that they're a bit bold, and that's a bit surprising. So I think we should all be a little bit more like chipmunks, right? They set goals, they're energetic, they're cute, but they're friendly all at the same time, and they get what they need to get done. And they're not afraid to be who they are. So yeah, so nature was giving me lots of lessons this week, and I'm pretty grateful for that. What else do I have? Oh yeah, so I mentioned that I shut off my alarm clock this year. There's an alarm clock beside my bed at the cottage, and I usually leave it on so I know what time it is. And for some reason this year, the first day, I pulled that plug, unplugged that clock, and didn't use it. Didn't need it. So when I woke up in the morning, I had no clue what time it was. I had to actually get up and go in the kitchen and look. And middle of the night, no thoughts, no clue, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter anyway. And I thought, wow, wouldn't that be amazing to be able to live that life at home? Of course, I need a clock at home. But, can we take some of that back to our lives at home and use it? Do you wear a watch? Actually, I stopped wearing a watch years ago. I mean, because we all have our phones now too, so we can see the time. But are you always checking the time? Are you living by having a clock and the time? Or are you living a little more freely in your life where you're not so glued to the time and what's happening during the day? So that's something I'd like to try and implement a little bit more. I'm going to try really hard. I don't know how successful I'm going to be. It's hard when you have a schedule, and you have a job that requires you to be somewhere at a certain time, and the kids have to be at school. But if we can even implement that on the weekend, I have to tell you, it was the most invigorating thing, and refreshing and powerful. And it was just that one small moment of doing that and unplugging that clock that made it it was like a milestone for me in a way. So I don't know if any of you have ever done that. I would love to hear from you if you've ever done something like that. But it was pretty neat. When you slow down, you're actually more creative. True fact. So slowing down, and after the company left, I read some books, I got inspired, I came up with this idea for the Sipping with Sue. I did write some ideas down, and they were just flowing. There was no blockage. When I'm at home sometimes and there's lots of things happening and my brain is full, I'm not as creative as I could be, because I'm full. And there's no allowance for that creativity to come into play. So I really did come to terms with that and realize that. So again, how do I bring that back home? And how do I work that here when life is going and going and going, just like this week when we've come back, right? So for me, I'm going to come up with some other strategies that I'm actually going to be writing into an ebook for, the audience out there, that you'll be able to see some of the strategies and how I'm going to implement that. Starting being back home, especially starting back in September. I have come up with a few ideas on strategies that I've used in the past and that I want to continue to use, and some new ones that I'm going to be using. So we'll be sharing those together. And I'd love to hear from you too on some of the strategies that you're using as well. So truly, I am grateful for the lessons. I'm grateful that I was able to be aware enough to have the lessons that the cottage provided for me. I mean, I still could have gone to the cottage, had a great time, and not worried about lessons and reflected. But the lessons were coming at me, and the reflections were coming at me, and the moments were coming at me like, oh wow, look at this, and this is your life back home, and how can you change it? So I'm truly grateful for having those reflections and those lessons and being able to be aware. Because sometimes people go through life and they're just not aware. They're not aware of their actions. They're not aware of who they are. They're not aware of the environment around them. And I am grateful to have that awareness, and that is there. So that was an amazing thing. And my goal is to apply all the lessons I've learned from the cottage coming up in the season that is coming. It is September, I always say, is the busiest season, month, December and June. But the rest of the year, we're all going. We're going and we're going. So how do we take those lessons and how do we apply them? So stay tuned for the ebook that will be coming, where it's going to talk about, the strategies that we can all use, and employ into our lives so that we can live a better life. Really, ultimately, that's what it's all about. How do we live a better life, which in return makes us healthier in our life? So how are we going to do that? So I am going to actually leave all of you with the lessons, and I would love for you to share this video if you could, so we can spread the awareness. And I would love to hear from you. Actually, my PS is what lessons resonated with you that I talked about. And tell me in the comments what lessons spoke to you that I learned from the cottage. Was it the chipmunks, the lessons from the chipmunks? Was it the lessons from the leeches that were on my feet? What were the lessons that resonated from you? And what are you doing in your life with those lessons to employ them into your life to lead a better life and have a more healthy, positive life? So again, if you are just tuning in now, I see some of you are coming in now to watch. Welcome everybody. Welcome Karen, Meg, Dory, Doreen. You can actually go and watch us right from the beginning. And again, if you don't have a chance to watch it, you can actually listen to it. I have viewers that say to me, oh, I'm putting my makeup on, I'm doing my hair, and I just put on the audio and I listen to you. You don't have to watch me the whole time. I'm not that exciting. So anyway, I'm going to head out with my my Happy Water, which I am so excited that I found this. Happy Water at Sobeys, and I'm going to post the link, and I'll tag them as well. I'm really excited, and the water is all from Canadian mountains. So good water, spring water, fresh water, happy water. Yay! And I hope that you have an enjoyable weekend, and the rest of you have a good rest of the summer. Next week I'll have a blog posted, and then the next week will be a vlog. So I do off and on each week, 1 week blog, 1 week vlog. And again, if you could share this, I would be forever grateful. Have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week next week. And again, don't forget to tell me what lessons you learned and share them in the comments. Take care, everybody. Mwah.